Joined now by Natalie Tomlinson, a teen mentor. Her student Sunday Essiot, a 15-year-old orphan, was stabbed to death in southeast London in 2008. Natalie helped organise his funeral, I believe. Natalie, what happened to him?
He was basically butchered. He was stabbed about 37 times in Woolwich as a result of an argument that he'd had down there. And he was stabbed and kicked and just basically butchered by about 4 young men.
What happened to them?
They've all been sentenced now. I believe, if I remember correctly, two of them had about 13 years. And that was because they also had tried to rob his friend that was with him also. And 2 of them got about 12 years, something like that.
Do you feel that that was appropriate sentencing?
No, I feel they should have got life.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you think that if young people use knives in a crime that leads to death, they should get life?
Yeah.
Whatever the circumstances?
Yes, I do.
Even if they're 15 or 16 years old?
Yeah, I do, because they know what they're doing at that age.
Do they?
They know what they're doing.
Because the argument is, of course, that they're still juveniles, so they shouldn't be treated as adults.
No, I believe they know what they're doing. At that age, they know what they're doing. They do know what they're doing when they're carrying knives. If they're carrying a knife, they're carrying it with an intention to do something with it.
Is it to protect themselves? That's often an argument, isn't it?
I believe many of them, yes it is, but some of them, even if it was to protect themselves, they would still use it. The fact of the matter is they will use it.
What if they're simply carrying a knife and stopped by the police? Should that be a mandatory term? Because it looks as though that, if convicted, it looks as though that's what may well happen in the future. I
feel that they should be. If they're carrying a knife, they're carrying it for a purpose. There's a reason why they're carrying it. They're not carrying it just for the sake of, something just to do. They're actually carrying a knife because they want to cause harm, whether it is to actually take a life or just to scare somebody enough, but they're looking to do some form of damage with a knife. Why else would they be carrying a knife?
Do you think it will make any difference, these new regulations, that it looks as though will be implemented?
To a lot of these young people, probably not. Probably not, but I think the government needs to start somewhere. Because many of them, they feel that they will get away with it. Many of them, they do get rid of it. But I think nowadays the government needs to come down a lot harder on young people. They need to understand that it will be followed through. At the moment, many young people, they've heard much talk that will happen, and many of them have got off with things. Other people don't want to come forward and talk, and so they've got away with much. But I believe that it won't really do that much difference. These young people now, it's the lack of respect that they've lost for the government is absolutely ridiculous.
So what's the core problem? What is it that people like you, we need more people like you to work with young people? Or is it that these young people need to feel that they're more respected by the government, by the public,
it's a whole range of It is a whole range of things, but I think that, personally, I think that they need to allow more young people, more people that are working with young people, getting into schools from primary age, not just secondary. Many people think of the teenagers, but it's for much younger ages as well. So I think more people need to be getting into schools, more people need to be setting up organisations, setting up different things to work with these young people. But a lot more time needs to be going. It's not just about youth clubs and things. I believe that more people need to be giving the young people more skills, the tools to develop and find out who they are, and bring a lot more contributions to society, because many of them, they're so skilled. They're so skilled, and it's wasted.
You work with a lot of young people who have been victims of knife crime, don't you? What do you say to them? How do you advise them not to carry knives despite what's happened to them?
I let them know the reality. If they carry the knife and they get caught with it, or if it comes to it and they need to use the knife, what will happen? The fact that not only will it affect them, it affects the person that they've used it against. It affects not only them, it affects the family, it affects the friends, it affects a whole range of people who, even after they've gone inside and they've served their sentence, that will continue for those people who lost that loved one.
Okay. Very stark warning. Natalie Tomlinson, thanks very much indeed for chatting to us. We appreciate it.